Don't come here like the killer's back.
Like, he still has to be like that little bit of hope and inspiration.
Yes, he's dead, but his daughter's hallucinating him.
And she's like, it was Billy Loomis. And the way Ghostface got really almost defensive.
Hey everybody, Jimmy with the Triple C Collective here, and I am really excited to bring you our new series. This is called Sibling Scream.
Hey everybody, Jimmy with the Triple C Collective here, and we are ready to bring you part 5 of Sibling Scream. Crazy. We have gone, this is number 5. This is Scream. This is what we all came here for. This is what we've been doing. We are ready for this. We are still looking for a tease of anything from Scream 7. We don't have anything of that yet. But without further ado, let me go ahead and introduce my co-host. We've got our sisters of cinema with us, Jodi and Becky. Jodi and Becky, say hi.
Hello.
And with us, as always, my brother Eddie. Brother Eddie, say hi.
Hey, everyone.
And so, yeah, as we were talking about this, I'm like super pumped about Scream 5. I don't know if anybody else like saw the energy that I've been bringing, but I have fun with this movie. It's brutal. The idea of Wes Craven always saying more blood in the original first 4 is like met and probably exceeded in Scream 5 in a lot of ways. But we got to talk about it. Scream 5, the first movie that is truly, it's the second movie not written by Kevin Williamson in the Scream franchise, but it's the first movie not directed by Wes Craven. Because unfortunately, when this movie is released in 2022, Wes Craven has passed from brain cancer. And, it's a terrible thing. All of us here on this pod, like, we all love Wes Craven. Nightmare, Scream, and everything else in between all means the world to us. Like, he has been scaring us since before we understood, like, really what horror kind of was. And even attacking us in our nightmare, or in our dreams and nightmares. So Wes Craven in general, how did you guys feel about, before you even saw it, before maybe even just watching trailers of Scream 5, how did you feel about Scream 5 being made basically without the true originating creators really being involved in like the writing or the directing?
I'm a big fan, actually, of Scream 2022, Scream 5 Cream, as I prefer to call it. I think that it's actually a really inventive movie. I think it took a lot of good risks, and most of them paid off really well. I'm a huge fan of the chemistry between the core group of friends. That was the biggest thing that stood out to me, is it reminded me of the original, that there was like actual real chemistry between all of these main characters. I find that hard to see in a lot of like modern movies of like younger people. I just always feel like the chemistry just feels off for a lot of these movies. They just oftentimes like kids just don't seem like they're actually friends or like young adults. This one, I felt different about it. So I was really brought into the whole crew. Especially the sisters Sam and Tara. I feel like that whole dynamic works out really well. Like the dramatic stakes between them is really impressive. Like the scene where they're talking about like why Sam left all those years ago is actually like, it actually like tugs at your heartstrings, because they're both very good actors. And I think that's one of the biggest differences here too, is they got real talent all across the movie. Bringing the old crew back, but really this movie is about the newer people. With the exception of like Dewey, you could take out Gail and Sydney from this movie entirely, and it wouldn't really change much at all. Dewey, I think, is a little bit more of an important character, just because he's like that legacy character that, you know, carries the new crew, you know, into whatever they're doing with Scream now. But the fact that the new crew was as engaging as they were, I think, is what really drew me into this movie. It did a really good job of the legacy, the requel part of it.
I was excited and skeptical. Sorry, go ahead, Becky.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was going into it with low expectations because I didn't think people or the new creative team would be able to get the essence of Scream like Wes did. That was my initial thought.
I guess I was just slightly worried that it would be more like Scream 3 than any of the other Screams.
That's fair. I mean, we all had our reservations. Like, I remember, like, Radio Silence, the directing duo, Matt Bellinelli and Tyler Gillette, or Bettinelli Open, sorry. They started out on YouTube making shorts and stuff like that. Then they started getting involved with the VHS franchise. They did Devil's Due, and then they did Ready or Not. And Ready or Not is a great flick if you've never watched it.
I love that one.
It's so smart. Guy Busick, who is one of the co-writers of Scream 5 and 6 with Radio Silence, was a co-writer of Ready or Not. So that's part of like the synergy that we get here of everybody working together and kind of understanding the assignment, for lack of a better word. They've worked with each other before. They know what they're trying to do here with Scream, and everybody just loves it. And I think that for me in Scream 5, it shows. Whether or not you love this movie, hate this movie, or kind of like in between, whatever, if you find it like, just mid. But like, you can't say that people involved here didn't love the previous movies, because Scream 5 is just littered with Easter eggs and callbacks, and like, there's some things, I mean, Becky, you've talked about it either on the pods or even off the pods before we've recorded or after we recorded, about the lack of talking of Tatum and her, like, like, she dies in the first one and then nobody talks about her again. But one of the first things I clock in Scream 5 in our introduction to Dewey is Tatum's ashes. The little like urn and stuff on there. And I remember you telling me that too, and I was like, because before we dove into this, I had only seen Scream 5 once, and I was like, I liked it, but I hadn't dove in and rewatched it yet. And just rewatching it for the pod and stuff, man, there's just so much love for these things. What do you guys feel about some of the even some of the Easter eggs? We can dive into some of that stuff. Is there any other Easter eggs or callbacks or anything that you guys kind of loved? Like one of my favorite ones is that Tatum ashes thing. Like, it's just so good because we've talked about it, and it's like, oh, everyone like we clock that as fans. Anybody else got a favorite kind of Easter egg or something that you're like, I just love that they included that?
Mine's not necessarily an Easter egg, but something that got me really excited in the theater is in the opening when Jenna Ortega's talking to Ghostface and they ask her who the original killer was, and she's like, it was Billy Loomis, and the way Ghostface got really almost defensive, saying like, and Stu Mocker, like, I was like, oh my God, Stu's back. Like, I really was like, this is Stu being pissed. And there were a couple moments like that throughout the movie, and I was ready for it. I was like, yes, Stu. No one remembers Stu. And ultimately, of course, it didn't come to that. But that moment, like, as a Stu fan, I liked that moment because everyone remembers Billy.
The best line of dialogue in the movie, in my opinion, is towards the end. It's when Sydney is in the house and she's like shooting everything, right? And she's like shooting at the door, and she's like, what is it? She's like, get out of there. And he's like, it's like, why are we hiding in there? And he's like, because I'm hiding from murderers, right? And she's like, why didn't you come out? And he's like, because you're shooting everything.
I enjoyed a lot of Jenna Ortega's opening call, and just like a lot, like when she was like, oh, it was so 90s, it was overlit and they had goofy hair. And then like also when she said like Luke Wilson was playing Billy, just because I like the Luke Wilson scene in Scream. What was that, 2?
2.
Yeah, so I also like that scene. I like that like callback because I thought that was funny.
I really appreciated how they carried on Randy's legacy and his niece and nephew.
I did too. And even seeing his sister, like being their mom, like that was cool to see her again.
Had like a shrine to Randy on her fireplace. Especially the girl, Mindy, I think her name is, her character. She really like takes on his whole persona, and I appreciated that. Because I think Randy dies very quickly in the second one, and he truly, in my opinion, aside from Sue, is one of the more memorable characters in Scream. So I appreciate that they carried that on.
And it felt like a love letter, like mentioning Tatum, like I like it. I agree with you. Like it feels like who made this movie did it with a lot of care and love for the original, and maybe it was like their own little daydream of what they would want to see, and perhaps they were on the pulse of what we might want to see too, as people who've loved these movies for a long time.
I couldn't agree more. Like, and it's only reinforced with, again, Becky, the book that you told us. What is it? Your favorite scary movie by Ashley Collins that you introduced me and stuff to. Like, they talk about how like what they wanted to do was have everything be vital and important that you see on screen. That it does mean something to the character's motivations and stuff that you get throughout all of it. And I just love it. But the one thing that I do love that is a change in this movie is almost the more blood thing. Like, my gosh. If we want, we can even talk about some of our favorite kills right here. Because, like, the one that, I mean, spoiler alert if you haven't watched Scream 5. But, like, honestly, the craziest one, the one that, like, they wanted to show you because of, like, the previous 4 movies that he was really gone is Dewey.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, that is bloody.
Yeah.
That is one of those scenes where it's just, like, where, like, I just love it. Flips Ghostface over and he's like, not today. And then, like, you know, shoots Ghostface and, like, Ghostface falls into the, like, the glass rack or whatever. And then he's in the elevator and he's like, gotta shoot him in the head. They always come back. And Ghostface goes, yes, today. And,
I think he died with dignity, which I appreciate. Like, he didn't just randomly, like, be scared and, like, he was sticking up. He was like, I gotta end this thing, and even though he didn't end it, like, you know, I'd like to think
he still saved the people that were there.
Mm-hmm.
And even the line when she says it's an honor, like that gives me chills. Like as dark and twisted.
Yeah, that was awesome.
They were very aware of what was happening and what we were seeing. Like that was good.
It was very good.
That was awesome. I loved I didn't love that he died, but I like loved that scene. It was awesome. And also like I felt like one of them had to go.
They did. I agree with you.
I like honestly would have rather it been Gale, but like one of them had to go. And it kind of like it felt like it's even funnier too because they were mentioning like Star Wars, how they like made new movies, but it always goes back to the originals. But it like reminded me of like Han Solo dying, and like in the whatever the
Force Awakens.
Yeah. So I was like, oh yeah, like Han Solo also had to die in that. Like it just made sense.
Mm-hmm.
And so like Dewey, I feel like had to die.
In the book, David Arquette mentions that he was not happy when he found out he was dying.
I won't say that Dewey's death is my favorite because Dewey's death upsets me just because he's a character that like I really love. It was obviously needed, I think, for the movie. It was like there to set stakes. But if I have one qualm with the movie, it's that they try to tell us that Dewey goes out like a hero and he really just goes out like an idiot. You know, like him turning away from the elevator and just slow walking over, slowly raising his gun. It's just like, come on, Dewey. Like, do job. You're supposed to be better than that, you know? Was still a cool death. It's very emotional death, you know? I love Dewey. I've loved these movies since I was a kid. And Dewey has been my favorite character since Scream 2 when they killed Randy. And has continued to be my favorite character all the way through.
But in the book, he also talks about, like, they were leaning in very heavily into Dewey and, like, his, like, problems that he was having, clearly, like, the substance abuse and all of that. And he like made the good note of being like, no, we got to comment on that. We got to have that in there. But like, we got to dial it back a little bit because Dewey still has to have a little bit of light about him. Like he still has to be like that little bit of hope and inspiration. And like, you know, he is downtrodden. Like, you know, the scene in the house might have one of the best lines from Dylan of being like, well, your super famous wife broke up with you. You crawled into a bottle, and so yeah, you're definitely on the suspect list. And his response, maybe you're the killer because that got deep.
Yeah.
It's like,
And
it's,
even just when he was in his trailer texting Gail, he's like, "Hope you're having a nice day," smiley face or whatever. He, oh, I
Yeah.
shouldn't have said that. Just
and
so
he's like, oh,
sweet. So
I shouldn't
cute.
have sent the emoji. That's so
Immediately
cute.
after he says, "Don't come here," like the killer's back. Hope all
Hope
is
you're having
well.
a good day. Yeah.
Don't come here. That's fun. But even like when the kids come to his door and he's like, give me a reason why I should open it. And she says, I'm Billy Loomis's daughter. He said, that's a terrible reason.
Yeah.
Terrible reason for me to open the door, but he does it.
Mhm.
He can't help it. He's gotta help.
Yep. And like he's got to help. He's got that feeling like, he's still that hero. And unfortunately, like, I mean, The Dark Knight taught us this. You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. And they were not going to allow Dewey to become the villain. So he has to die a hero. And like that is so tough. But that whole scene is great. Like you said, like it's an honor. It's like goosebump.
Yeah.
That's chilling.
Great line. Yeah.
And it's oh man. Screen 5. And so I want to talk about a little bit more about the creatives here. Guy Busick and James Vanderbilt, the two who wrote it. As I said, Guy Busick co-wrote Ready or Not with Radio, and like Radio Silence directed that. But James Vanderbilt wrote one of my all-time favorite movies, Zodiac, directed by David Fincher. And so like from then on, I was like, sign me up for anything this guy does. Especially if it's in that like horror kind of thriller range. Like I'm in. Like season tickets. I bought the stock early, like whatever, however you want to look at it. But how about you guys? Did you like either Radio Silence, Gary Busick, James Vanderbilt? Did you guys see any of their stuff really before this, or is Scream your like introduction to them? How about that?
After doing some research, I had found that James Vanderbilt did Abigail as well. So you could definitely feel that vibe in Scream 5, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It's gory, it's campy, it's funny. And it's got the same chick in it. What's her name? Melissa
Barrera.
Yes.
Yeah, Melissa Barrera.
She's good in that. I really like Melissa Barrera. This movie introduced me to her, Scream 5. And I've really loved everything else that I've seen her in. So I'm grateful for that. I loved Ready or Not. And I like jumping into Scream 6, but I like the opening with Samara Weaving because that movie introduced me to her, Ready or Not.
Yeah.
I really like her. She's a fun up and coming Scream queen. Zodiac is not one of my favorites. No offense. I like it. It's just a bit more slow paced.
Oh, it is a slow burn, but like for me, I'm just locked in the entire time of it. Like I have devoured those special features about it. Like if I'm being honest, I usually don't like the idea of getting like obsessed about serial killers and whatnot and like true crime. I try and like stay away from that a little bit, but that movie just like unlocked something in my brain that I'm just like, I don't know why, but I care about like the Zodiac Killer. Sign me up for the documentaries, the shows about it now. Like it's just it probably has something to do with that. Like the Zodiac Killer was never truly caught. There's one real like heavily implied suspect, but like again, there's no like true hard corroborating evidence to like link them to all of that. So it's just crazy. But so Scream 5. Do you guys have I asked this question a little bit in Scream 4 when we were talking about reboots, legacy sequels, requels. After Mindy's speech at home explaining like what the killer is probably doing for their real life scenario, you guys have a better idea of what Scream 4 was and what Scream 5 was in terms of a reboot, a requel, anything like that? Or does none of that matter and you're just like happy to be here? Happy to be here with Scream.
A little of
Uh,
both. I think. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I don't really think about it that much, but I feel like 4 and 5 are like both in this like kind of weird like area of where and then 5 and 6 build, but now 7's gonna be different. So it's like I don't. They're like because it's like 5 almost was trying to start something new where like they were gonna have the legacy characters and maybe kill them off throughout or something or have one of them stick around all the time, but it seemed like they were kind of trying to build something and now that's not. So I don't know. I don't really know what's going on, but
Me too. So I'll say just happy to be here. I think there was probably a different plan. Just to add on to what you said, I think the intention probably was maybe to be more of a reboot. Whereas 4 kind of stands alone, but obviously some stuff happened and now they're pivoting for 7. So maybe they're just making the rules up as they go.
I mean, sometimes you gotta be able to pivot.
Yes.
Especially so actually, you know what? One thing I will say just about Scream 7 that Becky, we learned about in that book, your favorite scary movie, is that Jenna Ortega had actually left the Scream franchise before Melissa Barrera and like the controversy about her leaving even happened. Like they kept it silent and then they released that information the day after. That was like mind blowing to me when I heard about that.
did it say why she left?
It was basically kind of she was just like, I'm done with the franchise. I think I've done like kind of all I can with it.
She
Right?
opted to do Wednesday instead.
Yeah. And
I remember, yeah, the statement she released, they like made it clear it wasn't because of Melissa Barrera. Yeah, I think she said like she was pursuing other things and scheduling and all that.
And I don't know if people really believed that.
yeah. But like
yeah, look, it clearly states that she opted to do Wednesday instead. So
right. And I also wonder if they like Spyglass or whatever the people involved were trying to think if they could lock down actually a deal with her, possibly even like work within the Wednesday schedule. But then like with the Melissa thing, they totally just like pivot into a new thing, which is upsetting because like this opening sequence in Scream 5 with Jenna Ortega, we've kind of talked about it a little bit, but one of my favorite like shots in this entire movie is that like Ghostface turn and we get the long shot after he like pushes her down onto the ground. It's pretty violent. I'm not trying to say like I'm happy about that, but that like turn and look, like it's a really long shot that they make, and Ghostface just looks so tall and menacing and like overpowering there. It is just I just remember seeing that shot, and it's one that I remember seeing in the trailer and stuff too. And I was just like, oh my god, this thing is just it's just beautiful. Do you guys have a favorite shot like that in this movie?
I actually don't have a favorite shot, and that's kind of one of my. I actually that what you said is a good shot, and like that should be recognized. But I don't have one that's like stuck out, and I wish that there were like more like wide lens or like just something like I just felt like there wasn't a lot of angles to like make it more suspenseful. Like I don't know exactly how to I don't know how to word it, but I feel like in the first movie there's a lot of ways that like they filmed the house and like different scenes that made stuff very suspenseful. I didn't get a whole lot of that in this one. Everything felt pretty predictable to me.
I did like the scene with the sheriff's son in the house. I think his kill scene was actually kind of fun because he opened and closed so many doors and cabinets, and we all were like, ah! But it didn't come until it did.
That whole sequence, I think, is pretty suspenseful and really, really sad, but
so sad. And his death is pretty brutal.
Yeah, that's
They really, a lot of these deaths really up the ante
Yeah.
in terms of the brutality. Yeah.
I think they made the most gruesome death, which I'm going to say is probably my favorite, which is Wes. Just because it's just gnarly. You know, with Wes, they just have the knife go in one part, slide through his neck, and then pop out the other side. Just really uncomfortable to look at. So I'd kind of count that as my favorite death, if there was one, just because it was the most impactful.
I mean, that's probably the biggest change that we see in this. Not saying that the other Scream movies are like, clutching pearls or something and like holding things back. Like they're brutal. Scream 4, we see Olivia's guts all over her bed. Like in Scream 1, Drew Barrymore is hanging from a tree and guts hanging out. Like they have never really held back, but there is just something that feels more intense about Scream 5 and 6 that in some cases I think it really works. Like again, like the Dewey scene. Like it is very clear, like they made it very clear that he is dead. And then it's like we even talked about it with some of the people getting excessively stabbed throughout. Like, some of it leads into starts leading into that, as Jodi, you've said it, I think every single thing. Yeah, you just gotta suspend disbelief every once in a while. You just gotta suspend the disbelief and just go with it and just go with the world. And you're right. But like Becky, do you want to talk about Chad?
Chad in both 5 and 6, spoiler, his stab scenes are absolutely insane. Almost on par with Dewey, right? And he survives. And I'm just like, because Chad wasn't even that big of a character in 5. Like, he was only in a couple scenes. So I was like, maybe they had plans for him already for 6, but he was like stabbed like many, many times.
He was stabbed like 15 times, like in the
Yeah.
chest and stomach.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, his abs aren't that big. He's a great character, though.
He's
absolutely
very
adore him.
charming. Like we see a lot more of him, Becky. Like you said, in 6, I like, and we'll talk about that when we get to 6. I like what they chose to do with his character, because he's kind of the stereotype in this movie, and they kind of expand on him in 6. So he's a welcome addition. I think that actor is very charming. Cuba Gooding Jr.'s son, for those who don't know. Yeah, I like Chad.
He is. You only like her because she let you wear Pokemon onesies for a year. That is true. That is a true story. And like his delivery and stuff on things are just great. He really is good. But like in a lot of ways, he is a new age Dewey in that sense that like he seems to be the dude who's going to get stabbed a whole bunch of times and like still kind of walk away with like a limp or whatever with it. Because like even at the end, like he's in the ambulance and he gives a thumbs up just like Dewey does in the first one. Like there's just so many things there that it's just like, oh, that's like you're gonna be that guy. And he does have that sweetness to him. Like he does have that sweetness, but he also has that like hot-tempered jockness to him as well. Like we see that with the dude Vince in the like pool hall or whatever. Like
that's a fun cameo, Kyle Gallner, because he is in so many horror movies. So when he popped in, I was really excited to see him.
Yes.
I
and he talks about it on how he originally read for Richie, bummed that he didn't get it, but Radio Silence was like, hey man, like you're not Richie, sorry, but like we like you enough that we want you to be killed by Ghostface. And he was like, sign me up. Because that, like in the book, he's like, your favorite scary movie. If I can't be Ghostface, the next best thing is getting killed by Ghostface. And it's like, yeah. Like, I mean, yeah.
I grew up loving the movies like we did. And like, it probably was, I know we talked about it a lot in 4, like all the cameos that might have felt a little cheap. He's in a lot of horror, so perhaps he truly is a real fan, and it was an honor to get killed by Ghostface. Kind of a meh chase scene, but it's the first kill, really. So,
but you know what? At the like, yeah, his whole like, but like that quick like, is like, whoa, what? Wait, what
We're
just
not
happened?
messing around here.
And yeah, and like it's just like psst, you see the good couple of splurts, and it's just like I don't know. I love a good splurt.
The quick
Like,
That opportunity too when his car starts, Red Right Hand starts playing.
Yeah. Oh,
Yep.
that's a good. Yep. Mm-hmm.
the quick stab I did enjoy. I could have like done without that like whole part. I feel like it like almost felt a little irrelevant, but it like the kill was kind of fun, I guess.
Yeah. Maybe it was an opportunity kill.
Yeah.
Ghostface just getting warmed up.
right, and like, you know, again, they're throwing in the Stu Macher thing there about being about him being his nephew and whatnot. That's why he's killed.
Yeah.
I think I missed that.
Yeah, so
I
like
thought like Amber was just pissed at him and it was like an impromptu kill.
no, in the house when they're talking with Dewey, they're like, well, why did like Vince get killed? And Amber's like, oh, I looked him up. He is his mom is Stu Macher's sister.
I literally just watched this again today and I missed that.
I watched it just a couple days ago, but I was probably multitasking. I got to stop doing that.
So yeah. So that is Stu Macher's nephew. Ultimately, that is why he is killed. But they also talk about, you know, what Liv and Tara working at that place last year and him like messing with them or whatever. So like there is probably that hostility, but like again, you got to connect it all back to the original. So naturally, he's got to go.
Gotta go.
Is there, I guess, do you guys have a favorite new character here that we get introduced?
I like Mindy.
Mindy?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I don't know. I just thought she was like kind of funny, and I like her trying to take on Randy's role a little bit. I don't like none of it's ever as good though when they're trying to like make the commentary on movies or like predict what's gonna happen. None of it's ever as good as like the first two.
No, never.
And like sometimes it gets even a little corny, which I feel like this one kind of did a bit. But I still like Mindy. I thought she was a good character.
Probably my favorite scene in the movie is where they're discussing the rules, right? Mindy's going over these are the rules of a requel and everything, and it's so animated, it's so over the top, but each character has their own good character beats to kind of like show who these characters are. This movie does a really good job of showing like who the characters are, in my opinion. It has some really good lines of dialogue there. One of my favorite Dewey lines. It's not my favorite line in the movie, but my favorite Dewey line is like when Wes is saying, he's like, hey, you're probably the killer. You know, you had divorce, you crawled inside of a bottle. Like, how do we know you're not the killer? And then like Dewey's like, well, maybe you're the killer because that cut deep. You know, it's a good line. It's a good bit. And so that's my favorite scene. It shows the chemistry of everybody. It sets the rules for the movie, and it really gives you the sense of like, this is old and new at the same time, and like anything can kind of go. However, they've been saying since Scream 2, anything can go. You know what I mean? Like every time that they do the rules of a new sequel, it's just like, hey, all the rules are off. This one I think was really effective for that. Favorite character is it's hands down Richie. I mean, Richie, I think completely makes this entire movie. The twist that Richie is the killer is one where he even says it for the audience. He's like, I know you didn't want it to be me. He's talking to the audience when he says that, you know, because he is the funniest character. He is the most relatable character. Like he is the audience avatar because he's saying all the things that you as an audience member would be saying, like, get out of that town, you know, like, don't be doing this. It's just his reactions to everything is just so spot on. I think Jack Quaid is a hysterical actor. And I think he makes the entire movie. The fact that he is the killer, as disappointing as it is, made me be like, oh, all right, cool, that he's the killer.
My favorite character in the movie is Richie. I don't know why, but I'm just a Jack Quaid girly. I think he's so entertaining and fun to watch on screen. And he brings a lot of the comedic relief. He's like a second Stu, in my opinion, because he brings a lot of the comedic relief. And I don't know. I loved the character. I think he played it really well. I think he did his research really well for the role. Even though he's dead now, so he's not like a but
may he rest.
May he rest.
Or not. Does he deserve to rest? I don't know.
So you know Jack Quaid actually made a Reddit account called Stabhead to get into his research to be Richie, to understand like what the Reddit life and like that radicalization could kind of be.
I
Wow.
respect that.
Still active. He doesn't use it anymore
Oh.
because it's still active, far as he knows. He's like, oh shit, that it like he talks about it in the book. He's like, oh yeah, I still have that. I mean, I haven't been on it since he hasn't had to do research for like a Scream movie or whatever. But like,
You probably
yeah,
found some dark stuff out there.
oh yeah, and that's why like the line of like 8chan and like Dreadit, like I laugh at Dreadit, but it's like it's one of those things that like yeah, that's what people are doing right now. Like that's the life that like we live in with like the social media of it all and everything, that all of these all of these little factions can find each other in all of these different places to either praise or hate things. And it's just again kind of wild how Scream always has its finger on the pulse of what's going on in the world. Like it really is in real life, in real time, commenting on these things. And for me, I always used to just think like Kevin Williamson was a genius and he was just tapped in like that. But it also shows that like you know the other people can do that as well, except the twist is that Kevin Williamson was involved with Scream 5 and Scream 6. And that is probably one of the coolest little bits about learning anything about this from that book and stuff, is that when Spyglass buys the Scream franchise from, Weinstein's after all of, Harvey's terrible stuff and like, them having to file bankruptcy, they reach out to Kevin Williamson, like James Vanderbilt and stuff, and everybody being like, we want you at least involved in like a producing role for this. Like you're the last like connection to the original stuff. Like we would be honored to have you be a part of it. And it's one of those crazy things because after 4, Williamson got out of his deal with the Weinsteins by being like, Scream is no longer mine. I have no connection to it anymore. And so these guys, everybody being like, no, come back and play. Let's have some fun. And like, there's just neat things about that like, I really do like Scream 5. Like Scream 5 is great. Richie is an all-timer. Like Jack Quaid's performance is like like he's so good because he is on the rewatch, like it's almost obvious that he's one of the killers because he's pointing the finger at every other person every chance he gets to, making sure that like nobody's looking at me, but like that sounds weird. That sounds weird.
They do such a good job of making you question whether you believe he is the killer or not, because he's like in real time rewatching the Stab movies and he's like, this happened in the Stab movie, like let's do this other thing, and people don't listen to him. They still make the stupid decisions and he's just like, okay.
Well,
Like,
he even says, like, in the end, he said, Dewey had it in 1. Like,
yeah,
I knew, like, I'm the boyfriend. Like,
Yeah.
why did you trust me? Like, it just, again, goes back to the original. Surely they wouldn't do that again. They wouldn't do the boyfriend again because they kind of tease us a couple times, and definitely in 2 that it might be the boyfriend. They do it again in 6. Like, yeah, it was really, I'm trying to remember if I truly ever suspected him, but I don't think I did. I think he almost had me suspecting Jenna Ortega a little bit. I'm like, that would be different. That would be. And then
I definitely suspected him, but I loved him so much I didn't want him to be the killer because he just was so charming and cute and funny.
He's great. I upon rewatch, I do like Mikey Madsen's performance as Amber. They give a few really great cutaway looks to her of where she's just like staring daggers at people, and it's just like, oh yeah, there's some crazy behind those eyes, and you got something's cooking there. And but I do love Wes Hicks, like all of that, the 4 West party and everything. Like it's all meant to honor Wes Craven. And the cool thing about Kevin Williamson, the final thing that signed him on, that he asked for, he was like, at the end of the movie, before the credits roll, we put 4 Wes up there. And everybody was like, wait, that's what you want to come on? Yeah, that's the simplest thing in the world for us to do. Of course we'll do that. So it's really cool too that like despite it all, like Kevin Williamson was still like, no, we if you guys are gonna do it, I like what you're doing, I love that, but like we have to finally say like this is for Wes too. Like we need to honor the guy that brought us here. And I don't know, I like I love it. There's just so much love and care for this movie and this franchise in here that it's awesome. Um, what about the legacy characters?
David Arquette brings something really special and weird to the character of Dewey. It's like anybody could play Dewey, but nobody can play it quite like him. You know, like it's David Arquette that makes it such like an endearing character. And in my opinion, he remained like the best performance across all the movies that he was in. Nev Campbell, close second. I think that Nev Campbell actually really cares a lot about the Sidney Prescott character.
Like we've talked about Dewey, we all love Dewey, and I don't think anybody is gonna, argue with that. But more importantly, spoiler again. What about the return of Billy Loomis?
I screamed in the theater. I was so happy. I don't care. Suspending disbelief, whatever. I thought it was brilliant. I loved it.
Yeah, it made me very, very happy. I don't know if I screamed, but I remember gasping. Did we see the movie together, Jodi?
No, so it came out in January, and my husband's birthday's in January, and we were in middle of nowhere, Wisconsin for his birthday, and we found a theater in middle of nowhere, Wisconsin to go see Scream because I was like, I'm simply not missing this. It's been how many years was it between 4 and 5?
It would have been 14 years because Scream.
Yeah, I was 4, like, I'm sorry.
Or no, I'm sorry. It would have been 11 years. Scream 4 is 2011. Scream 5 is released in 2022.
Okay. So, yeah, I was like, I'm not
sorry.
waiting. Happy birthday. I love you. We're seeing. So no, Becky, we did not. We saw 6 together though with our parents.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
Eddie, imagine Arma watching Scream in the theater.
Well, dude, that's why it was even crazier when they told me that they wanted to watch when they did watch The Substance. Mom and Dad watched The Substance together because they wanted I'm
Demi
blanking. Moore.
Yeah.
They wanted to see Demi Moore. And they didn't fully grasp what that movie was beforehand. So yeah, I don't even remember if they told me they finished it or not. I think they did. But yeah, when they told me they watched that, I was like, that's incredible.
Yeah, that is not their style of movie, so that is amazing.
No. Yeah.
But yeah, Ma has always loved Demi Moore from years and years. She's always been a fave. I mean, Becky and I talked about The Substance. We love that movie. That movie was fantastic. It's still like the craziest thing that Mikey Madsen won Best Actress over Demi Moore, but I mean, we don't need to get into that now. We talked about it for 3 pods.
I thought the supporting actress in The Substance, I forget her name too, was also really, really good.
Margaret Qualley.
I thought she was also
a Nepo baby. All these Nepo babies.
He too was robbed. The whole movie was robbed.
Mm-hmm. You know what? I will say, I agree. The whole movie was robbed. Corinne Roberts could have won for Best Director and all that kind of stuff. But the fact, truly, that a body horror movie won Best Makeup and Hairstyle at the Oscars is truly remarkable. And everybody's performance is great. Like that movie is amazing. But the last 25 minutes of that movie and like the makeup and effects and stuff that is just unworldly. Like it's just so good. It's so just fucked. It's like there's no other really way to describe it.
Like jaw on the floor the whole time. Like what I'm watching right now, but it was so great.
It turns into a little bit of a gore concert with like the blood spraying all over.
Yeah.
Great. The Substance, so good. Oh man. But Billy Loomis, Skeet Ulrich, he is back, baby. I love this. And I understand where this could rub people the wrong way, but if I'm being honest, they weren't saying that he's alive. Again, spoiler, he's a hallucination to Sam, his daughter. And I love that. Like, I just thought that was,
brought him back the way that he died.
yes.
His hair, he was wearing the bloody shirt. So it's like
Mhm.
just very obvious that yes, he's dead, but his daughter's hallucinating him. I was just, and they did it in such a non-cheesy way. I don't even know how to explain that. Like, I thought they did it really well.
I agree. Like, it
And
was,
it's really clever, like the making her his daughter. Like, again, we might have to, I'm sure someone has sat down with timelines and been like, this doesn't make sense, but whatever. Like, let's just go with it.
It's a
But
believable
I do
story,
think,
though.
huh?
It's a believable story, though.
It is, and it's just very clever, and it's always, the story is always expanding and reminding us that it's not always what it seemed. Like, this is already like questioning some of what we thought about one. And anyway, it's very cool the way they did it with Sam's character, I think.
Mhm. I love it. I think Melissa does a great performance. Jenna Ortega, she's just continually killing it in everything she does. But I obviously, like, we talked about Martha coming back. She's great.
Mhm.
Personally, Judy Hicks always annoyed me in the fourth movie. I was happy to see her die. I know that might make me a morbid, terrible person, but like actually, I want to talk about that death scene because it is the first true death scene that we have in broad mother effing daylight.
Hmm.
Completely in the day, sun everywhere in the middle
Good
of the
point.
suburbs, and nobody comes to her help.
There's a couple attacks that are ridiculous in this movie, and that was definitely one of them. Although I like the suspense of it too. I thought that was all shot really well. But then and it's like it wasn't like he just slit her throat and ran away. Like he took his time and was just like chilling out front. As she already called the cops to converge on her house. Is Woodsboro like how big is that place for the cops to have not been there?
Yeah, the Woodsboro cops suck because they show up at like the last minute.
Yeah.
Even Sydney
Yeah,
and
it's
Rachel are
pretty.
headed to the house. Why didn't they pre-prepare and yeah? So it all goes back to that suspending belief stuff. But I think the more Scream movies we get into, the more the suspending of belief becomes extremely unbelievable. Like you can suspend belief where it's like, oh, there's no way Ghostface could have been there and then there in like 5 minutes. Like that's easy. But like there's other things that it just gets worse and worse, I think. That's my critique of Scream 5.
Mm-hmm.
Another really bad one was when he attacks Sam in like the waiting room and he's literally behind the door. Like that. He's like 5 feet behind her on the phone talking and she has no like
It's like a silent
yeah.
hospital again where nobody's working apparently.
Never. I like that line when Jenna Ortega's like, can we go to a different hospital this time? Because with Woodsboro Hospital or whatever.
So literally, Colin and I watched this last night. And when the lights go off, before the like Richie show up and Ghostface attack in the hospital, leading to like Dewey's death, when Jenna Ortega's like roughly rolling herself in the like chair and stuff, and oh god, like seeing the blood.
It's so
slowly
of all the scenes, and then like her hand on the wheelchair, I'm like, I can't do it because it's almost like you could feel it happening to yourself or something. I don't know.
It's probably meant to be pretty visceral, yeah.
Yeah.
And that also has another really great shot of like Ghostface, long hallway, long lens, of like that slow chase down and everything. But I've forgot what I was going to say about that scene.
Something about him talking on the modulator, and I think.
Yeah. So like so also in that we see the modulator and stuff. I'm just wondering, like going off of what Eddie and you said about like how does she not like hear her in the room? To be fair, I think that's a major flaw that after 5 movies we actually haven't talked on. I think that's a flaw throughout all of the movies, if I'm being honest. Like anytime the killer is inside the house, like I am flabbergasted that somebody is not hearing it, even if they're in a closet, especially if they're in an open room. Like,
that happens a lot in this movie.
Yeah.
Especially the final scene.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like when Jenna pops out of the closet and attacks Amber, Richie's like in the next room and he's like, Amber, where are you? It's like
Yeah.
she's attacked across the hallway and you can't hear shit. Okay.
Right, like I get it, that's a big old house. I actually probably believe that those walls are probably pretty thin and you can hear most of it, but it again, like it Eddie, you said that to me about like the room earlier in the hospital room, and I was like, save it for the pod, but I agree. Like
That one was just like so ridiculous. Like it was like 3 feet away. It's like, I guess one thing if you're in a different room, like that was just
That's funny.
well, and like it doesn't help too that later on with the Dewey or with that like hallway scene right before the Dewey death and stuff, we literally see Ghostface turn the modulator on, and then we hear like that hum, and for the first time ever, like aside from like them just using the little clicker thing and being like hello or whatever, like we have that, and it makes like this humming noise. So going on top of like what at least in Scream 5, I don't understand how most people didn't like hear Ghostface, around the corner in another room. Again, we just suspend some disbelief, Jodi's rule 101 of watching a Scream. You just gotta suspend some disbelief.
I'm laughing at myself because I didn't even notice this. I drink the Kool-Aid. I'm just like in it and I'm like, oh, whoa. And now that you guys bring this up, I'm like, wow, that didn't even cross my mind.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like such a believer. I love it so much.
Even like, who are these police? They're so bunk at their jobs. Like, even after meeting in the living room and Dewey's like, here are the rules. So obviously the killers are in this room. Why don't the police like sequester these people? You're like, oops, okay, no more killings are happening. So it's obviously someone. Go through their phone records. Like, Richie's making calls to Sam. Is that her name?
Mhm.
Melissa?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
In the house. Or like he's on the phone with Sydney while Sydney's like with the gun, and then she like finds him in the closet and she's like, what are you doing in here? And he's like, I was hiding. No, he was on the phone with you.
Yes. Well, because she said, and that's a really good scene too, when you bring up the legacy characters. I just love how like Sydney just doesn't give a shit. She's like, I've done that, like I got somewhere to be. Like, can we just wrap, like she's like, I'm bored, like hangs up, like she's just like, come out or I'm shooting, and she's just pew pew pew, like doors all over the place. I warned you. Like,
yeah. I think
she
there's
doesn't
that
give a
one.
shit.
I do like how Sydney at this point, she obviously has a lot to lose, but she acts like she doesn't. And even the scene where like Sam's like, bye, we're leaving. Sydney's like, okay, but then she's like, oh, I put a tracker on her car. And Gail's like, what? And she's like, and Sydney's like, that's something Gail Weathers would do. It's like Sydney's just one step ahead always.
yeah.
I've been through this a lot. I like that line. Like, if you need anyone to talk to, I've been through this a lot.
Right. And I mean, to be fair, Sydney is constantly trying to reassure like Sam and, Tara that like she's there for them, even being like at that end, like conversation, like right before they leave and stuff, Sam's like, will I get better? Will I get over this? And, there's that little deep breath, and, literally the best answer is eventually, because each person dealing with trauma will be, yes, you can get over it with help and support and all that kind of stuff. Absolutely. But everybody's timeline is different. Just because one person gets over it in, whatever amount of time, a month, doesn't mean you're going to do the same thing. Like everybody's on a different timeline and that stuff. But that's why like that answer, so simple. It gives so much power and gives such a great explanation of eventually. Because it doesn't set up any kind of like personal timeline of what it was for me. It's just like, yeah, you'll get there.
Yeah.
Through your own journey. But you've got to go through it. Like, I can't tell you that. And I don't know. I just thought like
take self-defense classes, go to the shooting range. Like, that's what I would say.
I mean, the Dewey and Sydney conversation, like Dewey being like, do you have a gun, Sid? And I'm Sydney fucking Prescott. Of course I own a gun. Like,
that's the only correct answer in her situation. Like, I'm not even a gun person, but like, yeah, if I'm Sydney Prescott, I got at least one on me at all times.
Same. Samesies. Like I don't know what else you would be trying to do at that point. Like, yeah, you've got to have something. I do love before Sydney gets like drawn back into Woodsboro with like Dewey's death and everything, that like she's living her best life. It is something that I do love, like, or at least, for all intents and purposes, she's married, she's got kids, she's, going for a run before she takes her kids to school. Like, she seems to be like genuinely happy up until she gets that phone call from like Dewey. And that's like, if I'm being honest, that's something nice to see. Because like with horror films and like with like the final girl and all that stuff, you just kind of see a lot of tragedy and trauma. You don't really get a chance to see people like kind of having like just a normal life. I'm not saying that Sydney doesn't have like anxiety or like if a door closes too like loudly that she doesn't jump. Like I think that's crazy to think that none of that's there. But for all intents and purposes, despite everything she's gone through, seems like she has what she wants at that point. A quiet life where she's just able to raise her kids. And that's cool. It's crazy though, and obviously the only thing to bring her back to Woodsboro is the death of Dewey. Like, imagine this movie without David Arquette coming back. Like, how does it all work? How does everybody come back? Like, how do those like the people in Woodsboro, Martha, Judy, like we're fine with that. The way we get Billy, also fine. But if David Arquette doesn't come back, and like this movie really hinges on him in a lot of ways, right? Because he's the catalyst of being like, all right, I'll help you guys. He's the one that connects the past to the present, like ultimately, despite the familia connection with Sam being Billy's like daughter. But he's like the first one to be like, no, I lived through this. I know what we need to do. And then when he's gone, you basically get Gale. I mean, before he's gone, Gale comes back, but ultimately then you get the team up of, our final girls, Gale and Sydney coming back to save the day. And do you guys have any other favorites? Characters, death, Easter egg, line, set piece, anything like that?
My favorite scene is when they're at the Meeks house giving the rules. My favorite character is without a doubt Richie. He is the MVP of the entire movie. I wish he was in the others. My favorite line of dialogue comes from Richie when he says, I'm not coming out of the closet because you're shooting everything. And then my favorite death would be Wes because the knife goes through his neck twice.
I love Jenna Ortega. I thought she killed the role.
She's amazing.
She really is.
Honestly, on a rewatch, I will say I'm not as high on Melissa. I'm just not as like I thought she did really good in the first one, and then like on a rewatch, I thought she was just good but not great. I really like Jenna and Jack Quaid. I think Quaid was probably the best.
Agreed.
He's so good.
I think my favorite kill is Amber.
It's just, yeah.
She just had to go in a really crazy way. And I think, the whole reason they wanted her was because of her scene in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which was wild in and of itself as well. Mm-hmm. So I feel like, I think she overacted a little bit. That's my personal opinion. Mikey Madison, that is.
Yeah.
But her death was very funny. And it's like, Sydney tells Gail that she can do the honors. And she's just like, I don't think Gail's intention was to set her on fire, but it worked. And it was,
yeah. I thought, yeah. Bringing them back to Stu's house was really, really cool. And even seeing like, what was it, the basement or the garage? Or was it garage?
It's the garage in the first one. It's the basement.
Oh, it was the base. Okay. Yeah. Because it did look a little different. I disagree with Becky. I liked Mikey. I liked her reveal. I thought that was clever. She just kind of, it's always like, she's just like, okay, like, let's move this along. Like, pow. Lots of guns in this one, I guess, now that I'm thinking of it. But yeah. I liked her. I think she just seemed like she didn't, yeah, she just was kind of
a character, so her reveal was
crazy.
Kind of, but it was funny because even when she's like running outside and trying to sell Gail that like she's not the killer, she was like, "Oh fuck it," like
yeah.
Well,
It was fun.
I love Sydney and Gail in that, and they're like, "What do you think?"
Yeah, they just sit
Trap.
there like,
What do you think? Trap. And she's like, "Ah, fuck it," and then
Mhm.
Yeah.
And of course, Gail gets shot in the same spot that she does in Scream 2 on the stage, which is interesting. Again, like there's just even things like that like I didn't even think about it until like the third time I was watching it for the like research for the pod, and I was like, oh my god, she gets shot on that same left side that she did in Scream 2. It's probably why she survives. She's got some scar tissue there that might have helped, because eventually that's what they say about Dewey. Like in Scream 2 and 3, that's why he survives from those additional attacks, because he has the scar tissue and that it doesn't go as deep.
That's true, or is that movie magic?
I don't care enough to Google it.
If Jessica, my wife, she's a nurse, I would be able to ask her, like, she's a medical professional in that sense. I mean, she works with kids, but like, she
If you could just
probably,
step away quickly and ask her, and then I'm kidding.
Eh,
But no, I'd
I
be
would
curious.
if she wasn't asleep getting napping before she goes to work tonight. But yes, I absolutely would, just to figure it out. But yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I know that like scar tissue can make, depending on where it is, on like if you got it near like joints and stuff, does make like your movement stiffer. So like I would possibly assume that like it could be thicker in that sense and could possibly stop. But I mean, I don't know. Ghostface has a really sharp blade. Like I've got a feeling, scar tissue or not, you're getting cut. Like,
Let's see what Google has to say.
there we go.
You are Googling it.
Mhm.
The stabs are just so much like worse, because I feel like in the first one, like some people are getting stabbed up here like once. Some people are just getting stabbed on the side once. But then this one, was it this one or was it 6? But Sam getting stabbed and then they like turn the knife. I'm like, okay, her
That was this
organs
one.
are rearranged.
Yeah.
And she too survives. So I'm just like,
Says no, scar tissue cannot protect you from a stab wound and is actually weaker than normal healthy skin. While it may feel tough and rubbery, the internal structure of scar tissue is not designed to withstand new trauma.
well, they made a fun new fact in Scream, so we believe when people get stabbed more than once. So
That's just the quick like AI overview that Google gave me, but
Excellent. My favorite character, I still think, have to be, Jenna Ortega's great. I love Jack Quaid. Like, he really is like super good in it. The death that matters the most to me by far is, Dewey. Like that was one that was like, when you see Randy die and stuff, like it just hurts. I understand why they do it. Like, you got to have a legacy character die. You can't have Sydney die, at least not yet, until you're ready to like truly like either end the franchise, or you have like a new trilogy or set of movies kind of like outlined for like a new cast. So like, I don't think Sydney will ever die. Maybe she'll die in 7 now. I doubt it.
I hope not.
I think that would be terrible, if I'm being honest.
if she has to die, it's got to be super epic or on her terms.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she can't go down now.
Yeah. Because
but
even
like you said, it's like to protect her kid or something. Because I just the idea of a ghost face like finally getting Sydney, I don't know how I.
Yeah, I don't know. I like, again, throwing that out there. Not really a huge fan of that idea either. But Easter egg, I gotta say, I love the Tatum Ashes thing. Like, it's something that we've talked about. It was something that like, like Becky, you had clocked right away, being like, why don't we talk about her again? Tatum was one of your favorite characters, and it's one of those things that everybody involved, from the writers to Radio Silence, the directors and stuff, that they were like, yeah, nobody's really talked about Tatum, so like, we got to do something subtle and nice for her. And I just thought it was great. I'm not sure if I actually have like a favorite line of dialogue in here. Short of maybe the back and forth of not today, yes today. Again, there's a lot of that Dewey scene that like, I really think this movie kind of hinges on. If you like that scene, if you think it works, because it's what brings back Sydney. It's what sets up the whole third act of like, getting back there. They spend a lot of time in that hospital. I guess like, yeah, set piece. Like, is there a favorite setting that you guys have? Because I would say it's what? The hospital. It's Mindy and Chad's house. It's the Hicks house. And then it's Amber's house at the end, basically, maybe with a little bit of school sprinkled in there.
Yeah, the Mocker house for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
The last 40 minutes. I mean, it was crazy when I was watching it, and I was like, I gotta check what time it is. Hour 14-minute mark out of an hour and 54-minute movie, and I was like, God damn it, they did it. Those son of a bitches, they did it. It's just good.
It's so funny when you watch with hindsight, like, because at the party, like Richie and Amber kind of get everybody out, and it's like, well, why did they have to do that? And
like, oh, I need my inhaler. Okay, everybody, party's over.
yeah,
right.
She's been attacked twice, or they've been attacked twice, and they're both here. Everyone better go. Like, but
Done. The principal dying was better.
Well, yeah, I mean, exactly. Like, in the original, there he goes again. In the original, like, that's why, like, they talk about a good reason to get everybody out of the house. And it also fixed the problem that there also was a long time where there wasn't a kill in the movie. Kill the principal, have the school then find out, or like have that get announced. Everybody leaves because they want to see the morbid body. But in this, it's literally Amber looks up. There's like 5 people in her way. And then she's like, all right, everybody out of here. let's pack it up. Let's go home. And that's where like Jack Quaid comes in and everything like that. And it is one of those things where I was like, so you're not going to push through people to get to your own upper level of your house. But again, they need a reason for people to leave. They need a reason for people other than the core members to leave. And I agree it's not as good as like finding a dead body or hearing about a dead body like you did in the first one with the principal. But I also like the idea of when Mindy and Francis are making out on the couch and the guy with the keys comes up to like Francis and is like, somebody's goofy ass dad is making us leave.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's like that actually might be another one of my favorite lines is like, somebody's goofy ass dad is making us leave right now.
That one's good.
I also love the conversation of Amber and Mindy between each other in the basement, where like Mindy clocks that Amber doesn't ask for anybody to go like with her or follow her downstairs or anything like that. And then she follows her down there anyhow. And when Mindy's like, well, because I'm the killer, and Mikey Madsen has a moment of her eyes open up in like shock, I was like, oh, is there a third killer here? Despite me rewatching this for the 4th time, like, is it Amber and like, that's spoilers. Is it Amber and spoilers Richie as the killers and then Mindy killing as well? Like, for like 30 seconds, I really thought that. And I was like, oh my God, this movie has everything. I mean, obviously it turns out that that's like not the case. Mindy is just like, pressing the questions, asking the tough questions that Randy would have done the same way in the first 2 Scream movies. And I love Mindy. She's one of my favorite new characters as well, because she is the exact villain for Randy. Like, yeah, Chad is like also his nephew and whatnot, but short of kind of like his sweet, goofy kind of humor, that's kind of like the only connection I would say he kind of has to Randy. The idea of movies, dissecting them, knowing the rules and all that kind of stuff, that lives like rent free in Mindy's, head.
Yeah, but it's like a new version. Like Randy was like nerdy, and like Mindy's like the cool girl version of it. Like, it's cool now to be so knowledgeable about like movies and franchises and stuff. So
Yeah.
But
Randy.
she's also still a dumb teenager, just like Randy was. Like they all know the rules and they're still like in the place.
They
Like,
completely.
no one's seen my twin brother. That's a little worrisome, but
Yeah.
like I'm sure it's fine. Like I'm sure it's fine that everyone just emptied out of this party and we're in the middle of nowhere. Like it's just they're always just dumb teenagers at the end of the day.
Absolutely. It is. I love it. I love it. Like Mindy's so good. And then like even when she looks up, like when she's watching Stab and is like, "Come on, dude, turn around," and we at home are like, "Come on, dude, turn around."
Yeah.
I like it's so good, and but then she does, and like she survives, and she gets slashed on the arm and like a little other cut up and stuff. But that final set piece in the house is so good. I love the chase. One of the craziest things about it is the flipping over the rails of Mikey Madsen's Ghostface and Sydney. That is just so crazy. Jack Quaid batting 10 out of 10, no notes. Yeah, I'm trying to make it down the stairs, but you shot me in the leg. It's a little difficult.
Yeah.
Again, before his reveal of being an evil, terrible person. Now, one other section I had in our notes here, I put it in the plot of the rhymes and the rhythms of and relations of Scream and Scream 5. We talked about a lot of them, but is there anything else that we might have missed so far that you guys want to talk about that you're like, oh yeah, they did this in the original Scream and this is kind of how they honored it here? I feel like we've talked on a lot of it, but is there anything else you guys feel that I might have missed?
I don't think so.
Think of.
So I will just say, like, especially after my rewatches, I put Scream 5 above Scream 4, like tenfold. I think that they did a really good job honoring the original, but not completely repeating it in a way that was like too obvious, if that makes sense. Like Scream 4 just seemed, even Scream 3 maybe, because they just seemed like wacky and silly, and this one kind of had like a darkness to it again, in my opinion.
No, I would even say Scream 4 is that swing back towards that darkness. It is a little campy. I'm not saying that it's not. But like again, in Scream 4, we see the intestines of Olivia out on that bed. And we didn't see something like that since like Scream 2, basically, or whatever. Maybe even Scream 1 of like a truly brutal kill like that. And so like I agree. Like Scream 5 like really ups the ante here, and it really brings back a darker tone, a darker ominous tone, and it's just so good. Scream 5, like that, like every time I just think about it, I'm just like, I just love Scream 5. It was just so much fun. One of the things that we didn't really talk about is like kind of the motive. Like again, spoilers. Amber and Richie are the killers. You don't like the toxic fandom motive?
No, I think it's terrible and it's like not original. And so it's just like I really like, yeah, I don't know. Like they're doing all of this big like meta type back to the original, and like I thought there's gonna be some big motive of like somehow one of them is related to them again, or like, and it's like and that still wouldn't have been original either. So I don't know what I was really hoping for, but like I just really didn't like, because it just makes, they just wanted to make the move like a new Stab movie to be good again. It's like I don't know.
They're starting to become redundant. Like boyfriend again, the obsessed movie fame teenager, and then I put it in the notes, but obviously we can touch base on this in 6, but like the disgruntled parent, like I need something original again.
I didn't love it.
We saw something original.
The motive either. Yeah.
I thought so. I guess as me being a big Star Wars fan and seeing how that fandom is like extremely toxic to where like certain actors and stuff have deleted all their social media because people have been like, you have ruined my childhood. You have ruined something that I love and stuff. Like I have just seen that out in the real world. So for me, the toxic fandom angle of it, I was like, it's another thing that's alive and well right now, finger on the pulse. That's a real thing happening. So for me, again, it's one of those things where I was just like, God, you nailed it because people really are like that. And it is,
Totally.
it is crazy. God, I can't think of her name. Oh, Kelly Marie Tran. She played Rose in Star Wars The Last Jedi. Like that girl is like basically off social media because of all of the hate that she received for people being like, you ruined Star Wars. And it's like, whoa, let's calm down here, people.
Yeah, people need to
Like
calm.
we don't need to be sending death threats to her for
Mhm.
ruining like Star Wars. She is an
Yeah.
actress in
Yeah.
a film.
She's playing
Let's-
a role.
Let's calm down.
Right
So
it.
and like again, the Star Wars stuff is like a pretty extreme version of that. But for me, if you just see it a little bit, like that whole toxic fandom thing of people being like, you fucked with what I want, and now I am going to make it my way, I feel is like super real now. Especially with like almost the simplicity of people being able to make videos and whatnot, like even just shooting stuff on your phone or via Zoom, like how we are now and stuff. Like it's pretty easy to get things out there in that sense. So for me, it made sense. But it's very interesting that I'm the only one on an island out there.
It's not that it didn't make sense. I just think it's kind of they've done that angle a couple times now.
Okay.
In some capacity, like Mickey, and definitely with Jill, and I don't even remember Rory Culkin's character's name.
Charlie.
Charlie. Yeah, Charlie. I
just
get
miss
it.
the emotional aspect of it. Like when we find out that Billy's dad was having an affair with Sydney's mom, it was like for a split second you felt for him. I did at least.
Well, there was a real deep, like an emotional thing coupled with the fact that he clearly was unwell.
Yeah.
Even with
and with
Roman,
this,
like I'm the long lost son that like everyone forgot about. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. I can see that.
This was kind of, which maybe is part of the point that things are getting so extreme and it's easy to get, what does Mikey Madison say? I was radicalized. Yeah. And even Stu says like, I'm far too sensitive, like all this peer pressure, and so, yeah, they've kind of touched on it, and maybe that's part of the problem, that it is getting so intense and the access is unprecedented. But yeah, I think with the mirroring of the first one, I think it would have been nice to have like a deeper, even if one of them, Richie or Amber, like, because Stu didn't know about Billy's deeper reason. Like that's clear. Like, oh, I just thought we were like hee ha haing over here. Like, so to more effectively mirror the first one, that would have been nice if there was maybe a deeper reason. I don't know, but
yeah.
Okay.
But I still loved it.
Expectations for 7 very high. So
right, I am so excited for 7. Can't wait. I just like the only thing we've seen is like the like poster basically that was out that I know I sent to our group chat and whatnot. But like I can't wait for us to see something else. To see more from it. It's gonna be very exciting. Scream 7 will be great. I guess we can move into some final thoughts here and start looking into wrapping up. Final thoughts about characters, lines, Easter eggs, or set pieces.
I'll try to give my full rundown here.
Sure.
I thought Scream 5 did a lot of things like awesome and amazing. I feel like they almost did an equal amount of things that I really disliked. So for that, it made the movie to me overall like good. I enjoyed it, obviously. I still like it better than 3. I don't know if I could put it any higher than that. Um, love Jenna Ortega. I like Mindy as a new character. Um, Dewey's kill was like insane. The dialogue there from Ghostface was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't really love Mikey Madison, but I did like the reveal when it was like super quick and she shot, and then it's like this camera pan and zoom to her face, and it's like, like that was a cool thing. And then also when her and Richie were going back and forth at the hospital, like, and then it's later that they're both the killers, like that was good too.
Oh, Netflix, Sweet
Love that.
Alibi, bro.
Yeah.
That's
Like
really
that.
good.
One thing that we didn't touch on that I'll just add, like another layer that was fun to me with Sam being Billy's kid is it felt a little ominous. Like, what are we gonna do with this character? Because she overkilled Richie. She like was really going for it.
I
And
actually love that too.
they did not hold back. And obviously she was not the killer, but even going into 6, I didn't rule her out as one. Like, and they do kind of play into that, and we'll talk about that with 6, but I just thought that was a new element that we hadn't seen where, like, if the circumstances were right, could she take after her father? You know, I don't know. I thought that was a cool
Especially
new
after she
thing.
gets the first taste of a kill.
Yes, and she really went for it. Like, no hesitation. I thought that was a cool addition.
She stabs that dude like 15 times in the chest and then slits his throat, and it is gnarly.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
shoots him.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Got to do the double tap, baby.
You
What are we
always
talking
gotta
about?
do the double tap. Yeah.
Yeah. Becky?
Yeah, rapid fire. I agree with you, Eddie. Like lots of good things, lots of bad things. Great casting, you know, paying homage to the first film. But it was a little too stabby for me. I think that's kind of where it deviates, which is fine because it's kind of like a new era or whatever you want to call it. And I think the first film played with satire much more seamlessly than the films do now. Like it's just much too obvious at this point. I think the comedy kind of went back to the original where there were just cutie little lines thrown here and there as opposed to like the knife hitting Dewey's head and like, you know.
Yeah.
So I think there was a like it's an equal balance overall. I really enjoy the film. I think it is, especially after my rewatches, I like it way better than 4, and it might even be 3 at this point. So
Nice. I as I've said, I love this film. I would say it's probably 1, 2, might be 5, 4, 3 for me right now.
Woof.
Could be 4, 5. 3, like 3 is just it. I've talked about it.
that is like fuck 3.
That's so funny, but like I agree. I 3 is the toughest watch for me. Rewatching this 5, like it was a lot more fun. I will say, thinking about 4 to 5, I think I had a little bit more fun watching 5 than I did 4, because like once I started like reading the books and stuff, and like it was pointed out to me in Scream 4 that like the killer's sizes are like super wrong for Emma Roberts and Rory Culkin. They're just really small people compared to like the 6 foot tall like Ghostface. Whereas if I'm being honest, Mikey Madsen's only 1 inch taller than Emma Roberts, but at least you got Jack Quaid in the equation. Like once it's revealed that you're like, oh, okay, well, that's fine. You know, like he's not always in the costume. We know that it just doesn't make sense. But like, at least the height thing, you're like, well, whatever. One of them is at least tall enough to be it. It's that is less of an issue. I will say, going into Scream 5, I was super worried about it because Kevin Williamson wasn't writing it. I like Scream 3. I think that's like the biggest like fault of it is that Williamson doesn't write it. Scream 4, I was always very high on because we got Williamson and Craven back. Obviously, not having Craven involved like is terribly sad, but Radio Silence, I think they actually did a great job directing it. Gary Busek and James Vanderbilt, I like the script. I really like this movie. I like everything that they did in it. It's just a fun watch. This movie is just fun, and I have a blast with it. And I had a blast with you guys all here. So with that, we're going to go ahead and wrap up this episode of Sibling Scream Part 5 for Scream 5 for 2022. My gosh, we are almost done with this. We are so excited. Yeah, Eddie.
I don't like how they tried to make it just Scream. One more thing.
I agree.
The title. I don't like how they...
and I'm glad you said it. Agree.
It doesn't make sense. Just call it Scream 5. Everybody in all of the books, in all of the commentary tracks, they all call it Scream 5. I don't know why they just called this movie Scream.
Is it because they were trying to start a new trilogy? But that obviously...
Yeah, new trilogy, but then bring back the legacy kit. Like, what?
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, they explain their reasoning with the Mindy monologue.
Yeah.
You can't just fully reboot it and remake it, but you can't do a complete, like, sequel. You got to give them a little something different. So that's where you get the mix of the legacy and the new characters, and hopefully you have some sweet apple pie. I don't know. I like apple pie. I like apple cider donuts and stuff. I'm not a pumpkin spice person, so like when it comes to the burr months, I like the apple stuff. So
I will agree with you on that.
That is where my mind is going. But Scream 5. I want to thank you guys all for joining us. I hope you all had fun. Please like and subscribe to our video and to our channel. And I'll let you all say goodbye.
Bye.
See you, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. And we will see you guys in the real world.